Dormammu, I've come to
The
bargain.
thing is,
Dormammu,
yeah,
I've come to
well,
bargain.
Dormammu,
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
God.
Dormammu. What the hell? How did that break apart so quickly?
Wow.
That was the fastest derailment of the show I've ever seen.
It really was.
And
It's up there.
Guess who it came from?
woohoo!
By the way, for those who are listening to this show chronologically, this takes place after our Doctor Strange episode, so we're technically 2 years in the past right now, which is really weird.
Yeah.
I
We're
can't wait for
talking about
Infinity
future
War.
stories. Yeah, it's so far away. I can't
Oh
believe it.
man, wasn't it? I can't wait for the X-Men to show up in Infinity War.
It'll be so great. Yeah.
You think you think Disney's gonna buy Fox?
That would be crazy.
It will
Nobody would
never
ever see
happen.
that.
No.
Do you think that people are going to get really angry at Star Wars in the next 2 years?
You know
Oh
what
no,
I'm-
The Last Jedi is gonna be the best thing ever.
You know what I'm looking forward to is James Gunn directing Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Actually, Guardians 2.
Oh.
I can't wait for that to come out next year.
Yeah,
but
wow.
that's already known. I mean, I'm waiting for part 3 because part 2 is going to be great, and that means part
Right,
3 is going to
yeah.
be even better with him directing it. No
Obviously.
issues whatsoever.
Yeah,
Nope.
no issues
There'll be
at
no
all.
problem. Disney won't become a bunch of political and social cowards. I mean, what?
Wait, okay, it was 2016, so... Oh, damn it. I was going to make a Trump joke.
Oh yes,
That's unfortunately something we can't escape.
that's when the dark times came. That was my very bad Alec Guinness impression. I'm not sure why it sounds like that.
I mean, compared to mine, which I don't have, it's pretty good.
You're in the
so-
wait, hold on, let me try it again. You're in the wrong place.
Not bad.
It sounds like Ringo.
Well, yeah. I mean, all my
Before
Beatles,
the dark times.
all my Beatles impressions sound the exact same. Okay, hey Ringo, what are you doing there?
You're
Look
in
at their
the wrong
tracks.
place,
Those are
Ezra.
silent people. That's mine. There you go.
Do you think Ringo's the best drummer in the Beatles? Do you think Ringo's the best drummer in the world? Ringo's not even the best drummer in the Beatles. Do you have a good relationship with your father? No, we're just friends. I also watched A Hard Day's Night in school. Add that to the list of movies I got to watch in high school.
God damn it.
We watched Yellow Submarine in school. I remember that.
You guys are all so cool. We watched Glory.
I got to see
Glory.
Roger and me in my advanced composition class.
We watched
Oh, wow.
fucking
Yeah.
Cool Hand Luke. What else did we watch? We watched
I hate all of you.
Double Indemnity, which sucked. I hate that movie. Fuck. What else did we watch? We watched a bunch of-
I watched the To Kill a Mockingbird movie as well, and I really like that movie.
That was great. That's
it's
great.
pretty
Gregory
cool. Yeah.
Peck, man.
And that was when that was basically like, as I'm watching the movie, I was like, I think To Kill a Mockingbird is like one of my favorite books ever. Like,
Yeah.
Well, we just,
that was the only book I read in high school that I was just smitten with. I loved every page, and everything else I read I thought was absolute dog shit.
we read Catcher in the Rye, and then I wanted to kill John Lennon.
But you were fucking 20 to 30 years too late.
I was like, damn it!
Good job, Butters.
I had to tell the little dwarf people to go away.
Yeah. I said Farm to the Village, it's fine.
So for those who are not caught onto the joke yet or not aware, today, actually the day of this recording, is the Phantom Zone's 2-year anniversary. Yep. Well, two second birthday? Whatever.
I don't know. We recorded our first episode today, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea.
Chris is being lame and has a job, so he's not going to be...
Right. And a life, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of us have those.
Oh, and he
Yeah.
also has to go to music concerts.
Wait, what? Hold on. What do you mean? What other kind of concerts
Wait.
are there?
Okay, we have to pick this apart.
Okay.
What? I once went to a concert. It was 4 goats screaming into microphones.
I was listening to a sound radio.
I went to the theater yesterday and saw a movie film. And then I went home and took some camera pictures with my cell phone, with my talkie phone.
Right. God damn it. Oh God.
Alan, you sound like one of those people who are like, "Do you smoke the drugs?"
Yeah. No, Alan would be a narc. He would be.
Are you guys smoking
Hello,
the
fellow
devil's
kids.
cabbage?
Yeah.
Anyway, I am.
just
Oh, go ahead.
before we do intros.
Yeah, before.
I saw it.
Littler doesn't know who you are until we do our intro, so you really need to.
Let's get this out. Let's go.
He made a post on Instagram with a copy of Spyro, and I was like, and I wanted to reply, but I didn't do it because I'm trying to be a good person.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
What was going to be your stinging barb?
Gamefly, dude. Get that through Gamefly, you idiot.
Okay, listen. You are the only person left who is championing Gamefly, all right? You're it. You're the only one left.
Well, you're the only person I've ever heard of who somehow got banned from Gamefly.
Everyone else is like, holy shit, red boxes, or holy shit, sales.
Or
To be fair-
eBay.
To be fair, Redbox's business model is worse because you can keep Gamefly as long as you want without getting charged.
Mhm.
But
That's true.
I mean, but like, I will never, ever, 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 ever give Gamefly money ever again after looking at like the 30 to 90 day wait periods for games. I'm like, this can go fuck itself right in its eye. I'm never paying for this ever again.
not
Well,
hard.
who's getting the game if there's a 30 to 90 day waiting period on things?
Everybody.
Except for you, apparently.
Yeah.
Baron Trump, probably. That's my guess.
Daddy, I do so ever want to play the new Sonic
well, he has
Racing.
Gamefly Plus.
Fortnite.
Daddy, the boy smited me in Fortnite. Send him a missile.
Oh God.
Bunker bust him, father. That would okay. I'm Connor. Everyone should know who I am at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally.
But
all
Andrew
over the place.
Littler doesn't, so you need to say your full name.
I'm Connor Seamus McGraw, currently living in Las Vegas, Nevada. Originally born in New Jersey. I went to elementary school in Florida. My mom's name is Colleen. My dad's name is William.
He drank weird bags of milk in elementary
Yeah, my first dog's name was Dusty.
Don't you make fun of those bags of milk, Eric. They were good bags.
Well, some of us didn't have to go to
baggies.
poor people's school, and we had our
Yeah.
milk in little cartons.
Daddy, that school is
They had the cartons too, but the bags were a thing as well.
Nope.
We had the cartons on standby, but the bags were the first up.
My blood type is I don't know. Ask my mom. And I was dropped on my head as a child. One of those is a lie. Actually, neither of those is a lie. They both happened.
Thusly proving you were
Anyways.
dropped on your head as a child because
Exactly.
you
And
couldn't
I
keep
can
that
tell
dick
you.
going.
I can tell you who it was. It was my dad.
Fucking yikes.
Dropped me right. Here's the thing. The story about that has changed like 6 times because it's as I ask each parent, the deflection of blame and like denial of extremity of the event becomes less severe. So first it was like, yeah, you fell off your dad's shoulders and fractured your skull. Holy shit, that's severe. And then years later it was like, oh no, your dad dropped you and you bumped your head. What? That's
Wow.
completely different.
We let your uncle's friend AIDS Ghost hold you, and he just dropped you.
Yeah, he was
Okay, I'm Arlen Harrow, because I'm curious now. So, when I was a baby, I ended up having my head cracked open because of
The delicious
things
meats inside.
and a fireplace that I was left on unattended to. And
I'm seeing a common thread here.
yeah, so I'm curious, who else among us has had brain damage?
Head trauma at a young age.
I didn't crack my head open, but I did push my little brother down the stairs once.
Wait, that doesn't count.
It does. I caused brain injuries.
Alan, do you wanna-
I am the weapon. What's your name, sir, who pushed your brother down?
So I am the shell of the human being who was Hunter Davenport. I molted my skin and became a new being. I don't have a name.
You're Dunter Havenport.
Yes.
Are you a member of the Yower Dangers?
Yes.
Who the hell else is here?
Alan?
I am the strange man cometh. And
What's your name?
no one knows what's like to be the strange man, to be the odd one behind green eyes.
Christ. Still hasn't said his name.
Alan Muir.
Yeah, Littler will be so confused if you don't say it.
Littler will be like, who the fuck is talking?
I'm Eric Fedorchuk, and I have two different head injury stories. One, I don't know if you guys remember I might be showing my age. Of course I'm showing my age by talking about this, but
right.
There was thank you for the quick affirmation as I show my brain injuries.
I kept my mouth shut because I was thinking of those jokes a year ago.
There are these, they weren't Duplo, they're the little action figures that were like No, not Duplo. Thank you. I just said that. Regardless, there was a Knights and Dragons set, and I had a little slide in my room, and I slid face first down the slide and got the dragon embedded into my forehead, so I had to get stitches when I was very young.
I got it.
The other one was when I was about 6, maybe 7. I was helping my brother because he's 4 years older than me, and he was basically God to me when I was that age. He decided that he wanted to put a stake into the backyard, not a cooking stake, but the type that you put into the ground.
No.
And we didn't obviously have access to a hammer because he was 10, I was 6. He had a rock, and I was holding the stick for him and looking up in adoration at my brother and just hit Eric's forehead. Thankfully, it didn't break anything, but I've had my head knocked around a little bit. And then copious amounts of hallucinogens.
Right.
Now might be the best time ever to tell this story on the air, which is the infamous giant rubber dildo story.
Hey.
This is the show for it.
So,
I've been waiting.
A long time
for anyone
ago,
who was hoping all new After Dark would be tamer and less...
absolutely not, because here comes probably my most embarrassing moment, involving something even more embarrassing, backyard wrestling. So when I was a dumb...
is that what your priest called it?
Yeah. Move around, find him home away from Rome.
Damn.
So we were trying to kind of travel around and meet other people who were kind of doing the same thing as us, which is we were a collective group of backyard wrestlers. We're all looking to kind of pool money to get a ring to maybe start doing shows in like real places, get real training, stuff like that. So we went to this place, and I can't remember where it was. I don't remember who the fuck these people were. All I remember is that at some point I did a masked gimmick, so I don't have any peripheral. And I did a tag team match against these two guys. Their names were Daisy Duke and I can't remember them. They were transgender gimmicks that would have got them like beaten and tossed out of any building in America right now because it was so fucking offensive. One of them came down to the ring in Daisy Duke shorts and carried like a fucking massive, inhuman, double-ended rubber dildo. This thing must have weighed like 15.
What? So if it talked, it would kill people?
Yes.
It had weird hair?
It's just the fact that like if you inserted this into any orifice in your body, it would kill you.
Right.
Any of them. Stop trying to test it, okay?
It's like the film Zoo that we've all not seen, right?
I don't know what the hell that is. That thing
Mr. Hands.
So I see this thing and I'm like, oh dear God, and then he kind of puts it down and I forget about it until about 5 to 6 minutes later, when I get tagged in, I do a couple spots, and then the lights go out. And I don't mean the lights around the ring; I mean the lights in my head. And then I came to next to the ringside area, like basically with someone out there who's like, "Yeah, hi, I'm a nurse." I'm like, "Oh, that's bad."
Oh no!
And I came to find out that this dude, without any kind of formal warning or any kind of communication, got in the ring behind me, wound that fucking thing up, and cracked me right in the back of the skull.
Ooh.
He knocked me all the way the fuck out. And there was some pretty legit concerns.
I learned to fall off a ladder.
would you say that was the money shot of his act?
I mean, like, I don't know how many other people he decided to knock out with a dildo, so I couldn't tell you. I do hope that he got into a car accident and both broke his legs. Because that was really... Dude, he first of all, super shitty that you didn't tell me what was going to happen.
Right.
I can't see it because again, have a mask on, and like, hey, you're a giant dick, no pun intended. Because I went home and like after the comedy had blown off, like he got knocked out with a dildo. My friends look at me going, "You really don't look good." I was like, "Yeah, I probably have a concussion."
Concussion.
I wonder if he ever used it as a garrote. Like he just like choked someone out with it. Like that's arguably way more graphic. I don't want to ever think about that. It's on DVD somewhere, floating around New Jersey. I don't fucking know if it still exists.
You really want that floating around New Jersey?
I mean, like, when I say floating around New Jersey, I mean, like, a single copy. It's probably gone, and then this will come up, like, 10 years from now if, I ever become successful and I'm on stage answering questions. Someone goes, what do you have to say about this? And just holds up a DVD. I mean, I feel like we can be sure it will never leave New Jersey. So...
In order to get this video, you need to, like, make a pact with the ancient demon. Like...
No, I'm on
pledged
TV.
Is pledged.
I'm on TV and it goes down like that scene from Watchmen. Cancer.
Just leave me alone. And then you get dildos.
Yeah. I just explode into a cloud of dildos and everybody gets hit with one.
Sounds like something out of Second Life.
Yeah. Okay. I gave now to veer off of my embarrassing stories. I gave Second Life maybe one or two looks, and I think the first look was like, "That's really interesting," and the second look was like, "No, thank you. Never again will I ever peek at this little fucking hobby."
My only experience with it is there was a documentary I saw on Netflix about people who met each other on Second Life, which is as bad as it sounds. The other thing is the website Something Awful used to have an article every week called Second Life Safari, where they'd go around and cause havoc there. And that's how I learned a lot about things that had happened, like the reign of dildos that occurred on this first like huge press meeting. Like someone who had actually like managed to make a name for themselves and was the first super successful person on Second Life. They were having a press conference in Second Life.
Hold on. How the fuck do you become successful in Second Life?
I think they sold a bunch of land and made a bunch of money. I don't know.
That's like someone becoming big in PlayStation Home.
How about you devote that time to your first life, and maybe you won't have to have the second life?
I'm not these people's keepers. Don't come to me with these problems.
I'm not their daddies.
Second Life is a website I can live out my persona dream. Okay.
Exactly. Or like those Oni plays. Remember, I sent you those links to them on Second Life where they were Sonic avatars talking to that guy about his katana that he claimed could kill your CPU.
Jesus Christ. I just watched his Bridge Command video again. That's still 15 minutes of just so absolute golden comedy.
It's so good
because he keeps picking the girl avatar and he just opens up the fucking the stream with like, "Hello everyone, I am a girl." And he like looks at one of his officers and goes, I will kiss you." And the guy's like, he's like, you can just blow it at me. And Chris goes, "Put it in you."
Yeah.
He's a madman. I'm convinced. Like, I don't know how his comedic brain works. I just think he's nuts.
He's probably just fucking insane. That's probably it.
He's someone who I perceive to be completely insane, but he's like in complete control of all of his mental faculties. Like, he doesn't need therapy. Like,
yeah,
because his outlet is this outrageous comedy.
Well, he has the internet, and that's all they need for him.
Yeah,
is to get it out of his system.
If you ever watch his what's it called, the Doodle Dudes, he draws some of the scariest, most disgusting shit, and it's all hysterical.
I didn't even know about that. I'll check it out.
Doodle Dudes? Oh, Doodle Dudes is great. It's a Game Grumps thing. It's they have to do speed sketches, and they do certain subjects.
Oh no!
So it's Simpsons, Dragon Ball, Harry Potter. The Simpsons one is some very, very funny horror. And the Dragon Ball Z thing is where oh, I kill Krillin came from.
Nice.
I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad about it.
What's Super Mega?
Super Mega is also on there too.
It's great. I love Super Mega.
Yeah, Super
They do Doodle Dudes too now. It's called Drunk Drawing, and it's fucking hilarious. You check it out.
Oh man, Ninja Sex Party is going to be on fucking Conan tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Monday.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, those guys are blowing up.
Good for them. Huh.
I'm happy because Danny Don't You Know is legitimately fantastic. I was like, this song's about me.
I relate to Danny.
And Danny. What has everyone done this week outside of watching Iron Fist or whatever the fuck?
I don't know.
How's Spider-Man?
Oh,
I saw The Predator.
Yeah, how was that? I wanted to ask you about that.
It's a great film. It's not great, but it's very fun.
I've heard it is fun, but I've heard the fucking third act I've heard the third act alone is a worse editing job than all of Suicide Squad.
It's not perfect. It's messy. It's very messy in the third act, and I can tell that they cut some stuff out, a lot of stuff, because there are characters who they die in ways that are anticlimactic, and it's not like Shane Black wrote it that way, but it's...
Oh, yeah, I read that Fox got their slimy hands all over this and just fucked with it.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Yeah,
of all the fucking movies that you feel the need to mess with, you felt the need to fuck with Predator? Like,
but they did the same thing with Covenant, so I'm not that shocked.
Did they really?
Yeah, Covenant had a lot of messing around, and
it's almost like they were floundering. And
I thought that was I thought Covenant was just Ridley Scott trying to overcorrect.
It was, but Fox has a heavy hand on all their movies. Like, they're known for being very active.
Because like Alien Covenant felt very backhanded to me from everybody involved creatively and from a studio perspective, because like Prometheus is like, yeah, this is cool, but like we're here because of the xenomorph and you danced around it. And then like the next time he had the chance, he's like, oh, here's your fucking xenomorph, you fucking you complainers. Like,
I don't know though. I feel like Prometheus felt unapologetically like a Ridley Scott movie, while Alien Covenant didn't to me.
It felt like him doing a parody of himself and James Cameron at the same time. Yeah. And I think that there are obvious signs that Fox was involved, or in the back end of it, because the fact that Javier Botet is listed as the xenomorph, and I couldn't tell you a single goddamn scene that he was in, because the alien looks so CG in that in those movies.
And I've noticed this in the Predator trailer. One of the things that drove me up the wall by Alien Covenant, and this drives me up the wall in several different big budget releases, I hate with every cell in my body CGI blood.
It's real bad.
I hate it so fucking much because
it always looks bad.
It always looks like fucking how do I describe this? Like, it looks like a fountain of Kool-Aid. But like gelatinous Kool-Aid. Like,
it always looks like thick pie. It always looks like pie filling in a can to me.
Yes, it looks like goop.
Yeah. I mean, and on the subject, I mean, that's one of my biggest problems with the new Predator.
Oh,
there's a lot of CG blood.
The Red Line trailer. That's or the Red Band trailer. That was very evident in there. I was like, that's a big blob of fake blood.
So the only time I've really only not cared about fake blood is in Sin City.
But there's a style aspect.
I think in 300 as well, because 300 the blood kind of acts like it's you never see it hit anything. It sprays and then it dissipates, and then like you're cut away from that, so it doesn't really distract you.
Yeah,
and in Sin City, I mean, there was still an actual liquid that was being used. It was then digitally altered color wise, so it still had the consistency of being real. It just wasn't actually red because, well, actually, it probably was based on the way they filmed that movie in some ways. But regardless,
no, I hate CGI blood. And then the 300 sequel overused it to the point where I'm like, Eva Green just got stabbed and a river of CGI blood just came out of her. It's not touching anything. It's just flowing into oblivion. Like, it's not making a mess. It's not hitting the floor. It's not hitting on anybody's shoes or anything like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is happening right now would be a fucking disaster for anybody who's walking around there right now. Okay.
I think these studios need to have like directives that say like, we can't do this one yet. We aren't ready to do this one yet. In the same way, like for years, I think that they should not have been doing CG fire.
Nope.
Because they just weren't ready for it. As the movie Lawnmower Man can attest. So, and I feel like blood is we figured out fire kind of, and blood is the next one on
Well,
the
it's the
list,
same
or
way
one
because
of
it's
them.
never going to splatter the same way twice.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're trying to artificially create this very random kind of, seemingly naturally chaotically occurring thing of just, how liquid forms and moves and kind of, dissipates in the air. And then when you get like fucking tech monkeys to try to simulate that, I'm like, nah, it looks like shit. That's why like in video games, when it's very exaggerated, I'm like, it's fine. It's a fucking video game. Like it fits here.
Yeah.
I don't think video game blood has ever looked fantastic, but that's fine. It's just not
Well,
supposed to.
it doesn't need to, really.
I was
real
raised
quick-
on Mortal Kombat where gallons of blood came out of someone's face, and when you blew someone up,
15 rib cages.
and 15 rib cages and 14
Yeah.
hands hit the ground.
Yeah. Something that's tangentially connected to Javier Botet, though, is how was the nun, Arlen? Because I know you said you wanted to say a few things, and you didn't get a chance to.
I saw the one comment you said where it's like, you said, I like junk food, but this isn't even good junk food.
It's like it's really mediocre junk food. It's
Oh,
like
so oatmeal pies of
Yo, Hunter, I will fucking slap
Yeah.
the
I know.
shit you insult
I've got,
oatmeal
like,
pies one more goddamn
I've
time.
got 2 boxes
It's
of
like-
those things in my basement, motherfucker. They're delicious.
You fucking
Yeah.
you do not slander Little Debbie in this house.
For real,
God damn it.
you guys gotta stop telling me you dislike it when I say things like that, because I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Oh no, I'm not telling you to stop saying it. I'm saying I will find you, and
I'm saying that on our
Here's-
first physical meeting, I will box your goddamn ears.
Here's the thing, Hunter.
I'll have to.
We all know
I'll
what
have to-
that's like.
I'll have to reach up to do it, but I'll still do it.
God damn it.
You'll
Come
work
here.
his testicles like a
Um,
speed bag.
I'm just hold my hand out and like hold it on your head so you can't.
You have like a 2-second advancement of time because I had to reach up.
I'll just do like any good 40-year-old would do, and I'll call the police on you.
Well, you won't get away with it because Hunter's not
I was
black,
saying he's white. He'll get
so-
away with it.
Oh yeah, but I'm a 40-year-old white man with a mortgage. I will get away with a lot more than
Oh
you will.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Hunter, you don't have any tattoos because that might the difference might save you.
I don't.
Oh well, you're good then, probably.
Most unassuming white guy possible, so I'll probably get away with it.
Yeah,
I'll
most
just point them to Exhibit A when you talked about Schindler's List 2 on the podcast.
God damn it!
Now here's what happened. Like the cops show up and Hunter just points over to a random black person.
God,
They'll arrest that guy, shoot him, and then put marijuana on him.
Well, it isn't. He is in the extreme northeast, so that sounds about right.
well, I mean, Hunter, one thing you can do to get away with it though is you just smash your glasses, and then they'll have sympathy for you.
Just start crying.
Can't see without my glasses.
Relates to movies and bad CGI though. When we were watching Mortal Kombat Annihilation, that wasn't a cough, that was a gag. The Elder Gods representation was very Lawnmower Man-esque.
Yeah.
Because it's just like it's like supposed to be these like fucking like one's supposed to be like a water elemental and one's supposed to be a wind elemental and one's I guess supposed to be fire. But
They didn't have water figured out yet.
Everything
At
looks
all.
terrible.
It all looks bad. Like when any of them do their animalities, it's so bad.
Okay,
It's so
here's the
bad.
weird thing is that when the Dungeons and Dragons finale happened, we're like, wow, this all looks as bad as the animalities in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Fast forward to MK Annihilation. Yeah, fast forward to Annihilation, and we see that, and we go, wow, we're really sorry to Dungeons and Dragons right now.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the weird thing about the animalities in that movie, and we covered this in the movie dumps review, but they spend a considerable amount of time in that movie building up the animality as like the thing that will beat Shao Kahn, and then Liu Kang turns into a dragon, Shao Kahn turns into a Hydra, and they're both like, yeah, and then they both fall over and turn back into humans, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the end of the movie.
Nothing happens.
It doesn't add anything. It doesn't help
at
all.
The fucking Elder Gods just show up and go, guess what? Earth was right, even though we haven't interfered yet so far. We're here now. We're the good guys. Hooray! Shao Kahn's mortal. What?
Yeah.
And then Liu Kang just drop kicks him, just doesn't even bicycle kick him, doesn't hit him with a fireball, just does a single kick, and Shao Kahn falls down some stairs and goes no and dies. What?
It's so bad.
Dumbest thing. We also talked about the level of violence in that movie is so toothless. How the first movie, Shang Tsung is impaled on a spike, Sub-Zero is killed with a giant icicle. Scorpion has half of his head chopped off, and there's a slew of other pretty graphic deaths. Every single person in Annihilation dies via neck snap.
Yeah.
Huh.
Every single person.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's fucking weird.
I thought Johnny Cage got impaled.
No, Johnny Cage is the first neck snap of the movie. Who is now, by the way, a foot shorter and has a different voice.
Yep.
Because they recast him for the 30 seconds they needed him on film. Molina gets kicked in the face and dies. Motaro gets punched in the face and dies. Ermac and Noob Saibot are punched off screen and never spoken of again.
Well, I mean, who really gives a shit about that?
Hey, I do. I love Noob Saibot.
Basically not a real character anyway.
Well, now, okay, here's the thing. None of these characters, if you go back at that time period, mattered because they didn't have any stories yet. They were bonus characters. If you go by new timeline rules, everybody has a story.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about the actual characters from Mortal Kombat 9. I'm just talking about at that time period, Error Machine and Boon Tobias.
It's Error Macro and Boon Tobias. Well, it's fucking Chameleon was a thing. Smoke was supposed to be a bonus character. Mortal Kombat is basically just made up of jokes that became real things.
Yep. And they rode that all the way to the bank.
Is it bad if I want to see a Mortal Kombat cinematic universe?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
how would that work? Though?
Alan, I want you to fucking pitch this right now.
Yes, explain exactly how this would work in your head.
I want a 5-year timeline.
What's your opening movie? What are the end credit stingers?
Oh man, this is gonna be good.
I need a budget.
Okay, the budget is $200 to $400 million.
What? Oh my god!
All right.
You're fucking okay. First of all, get the fuck out of my office.
Okay, Alan. Alan, I'm gonna be your Hollywood teacher here. Okay, are you going for a small budget or a high budget?
Mix.
Okay, 125.
And is the budget you just said, the 200 to 400, is that for the entire series of films you plan on doing in the first phase?
I would say because I think the first Mortal Kombat cost $15 million to make.
Yeah.
Right.
And that all went
in today's
up
money, it would be
Christopher
50.
Lambert's nose.
Christopher Lambert.
Actually, let me go look up the exact. I know Mortal Kombat the movie made I think its opening weekend was $141 million, and it made back its budget.
Welcome to our 2-year anniversary of the Mortal Kombat cast.
I'm just imagining Al in an office somewhere. He's like, I need $2 to $4 billion.
I still want to hear the rest of Al's pitch. So we know, Al, you said middle, so $125 million is what you should have said. Okay.
All right. So that out of the way, what's the next step in your Mortal Kombat universe films, Al?
Oh God.
Okay, the first movie is The Elder Gods.
No.
Wait,
Let's hear it. Here's why. Because not a single time outside of Shinnok, who isn't one anymore, have the Elder Gods ever been represented visually, physically, or anything else. They are an ambiguous force that's just there. We don't know anything about them.
Exactly. That's the point.
Yeah, but they don't matter. Nobody cares. Their fucking rules change every 10 minutes.
Well, beyond that, though,
it would mainly be the Elder Gods and the origins of the tournament.
I would just stick with the origins of the tournament. Quite frankly, you could probably get me in a seat just by saying Young Kung Lao.
Well, do the origins of the tournament and maybe have some of the characters that are a little bit older represented in it that are known by the fans.
Shang
and then
Tsung, Goro, Kung Lao, and...
Raicho.
Probably.
Yeah, and have the Elder Gods pulling the strings in the background.
Oh, well, the thing about Goro, he's gonna be like the Incredible Hulk of the whole thing.
So he's gonna make a face turn.
Yeah.
Oh God, no. Goro kills Kung Lao's descendant, so he can't do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna say so far, I'm not sold.
I'm rewriting the entire mythos.
Then I don't care. You've lost me.
Yeah, Alan. Okay, here's the thing. You have to do this the way that Marvel does it, where you obey what came before, but you do your own thing.
Okay, no.
Wait, let's dissect that.
That.
We're talking about the Marvel films produced by Kevin Feige, Alan.
Al, we've literally spent 2 years Marvel movies. How the fuck? What?
I'm so confused right now.
Alan's a loose cannon.
I mean, here's the thing: if this is what Alan's gonna bring to the game, then I'm okay with it.
Here's the thing: like, I'm imagining now, Alan's sitting in Alan's already in the fucking studio executive office, and like the executive comes storming out of his office and just like goes to the reception desk and like puts his hands down. Sweat is pouring off of his forehead, and his tie is undone. And you're like, "Sir, are you okay?" He's like, "He just said fuck Marvel." Before that, he wanted to make a movie about the Elder Gods that cost $200 million.
See, I like envisioning Alan in a very well done suit, but the shirt is just a little too tight, so he's turning red and sweating the whole time he's explaining it.
He is stone cold. Like he hasn't emoted once. He's just giving out all this information, and like the studio executive just getting more and more just like outrageously just like incensed like the entire time. He's like, what?
The thing is, though,
he's like patting his head he's patting his forehead with a handkerchief.
If he could deliver it as stone cold as he has so far, they would be like, "But maybe he's onto something. He's so confident about it.
Got some fucking commitment to these beliefs."
He's so confident.
And Alan, to give you a better idea of your budget versus their budget, I was way off. Their budget was $18 million. 18.
Oh yeah, but for inflation, what would that be?
It's I don't know.
It's like 65.
It's global. Its global gross altogether was 122 million. So that's obnoxious how much money they made back.
Yeah.
But if you
that'd be like.
But if you try to do that Mortal Kombat movie at $200 million, I hate to break it to you, but there's only a certain sect of the population that gives that much of a shit about Mortal Kombat.
If you're starting off at $250 million for your first,
you're gonna DCU yourself in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it could be that the $200 million would be the whole package, where it's the movie, production of the video game,
here's
tie-in comics.
I would do this. Honestly, I would just adapt the new timeline into films.
Yeah, no,
and just start, and just your first movie ends with the ending of Armageddon.
Although
fucking Raiden getting his ass pounded by Shao Kahn, and he's like, he must win.
Tell me more.
I mean, as someone who knows very little about the Mortal Kombat, just the general like deeper lore, I wouldn't even start. I wouldn't even start with the tournament necessarily, or I would maybe have all these characters sort of interact with each other before they even get to the tournament. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing with the Mortal Kombat lore is that, do you know how the tournament works? Like, do you know how the fine details of it? You have to win 10 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with showing any other tournaments before this is that there's 9 where Outworld just fucking wins.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you do one where you have a tournament where Outworld wins, which is kind of a downer ending, and then you say, and that happened 9 more times. Like, so really the only drama comes when Earthrealm wins the 10th one, and then the whole thing has to start over again. And then the central plot of 2 and 3 is that Shao Kahn is like, now fuck this, like this Mortal Kombat rule is dumb. I'm taking over your realm. And then the other guys sit on their hands for a while and they're like, well, we'll only put up with that for so much longer.
I think I got it. I think I know what I would do. And I'm kind of reusing some ideas I have for the G Gundam movie that I've talked about before. So you have it So instead of having it be like this secret tournament necessarily, you have it like announced to the world, and people compete to join the tournament instead of having like an objective person picking it out, instead of just Raiden like picking these random fucking people.
By the way, now that's actually because here's the thing: Raiden is inept. Raiden's kind of a goof.
He does things that like do not help the situation at all.
No,
right.
He's just like, I can fix that, and then he doesn't.
His own message back to his younger self about changing the future goes horribly wrong at every single opportunity. Raiden is directly responsible for the deaths of like 10 major characters.
Exactly. So just having Raiden pick everybody is a bad idea. Instead, Raiden holds a mini tournament to decide who's going to go to the main tournament. And for your, 10 out of 10 thing, he's decided to do this after 9 tournaments of losing and just picking them all himself.
That is actually that's actually really fascinating.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like, maybe my assessment of these people is a little off.
Right. And let's say you have to fight, just for synchronicity, you have to fight 10 of your possible competitors in the tournament, and win or tie. All over the world. And you have to travel all over the world to get
China
10 points. And it's just, this is literally the story of G Gundam. It's just the plot of G Gundam.
The funny thing is, like, there are stuff in place within the Mortal Kombat universe that totally allows this to happen, because, like, portals to different locations in different worlds are totally a thing. And a lot of these fighters are from various parts. A lot of the Earthrealm fighters are from various parts of the planet. Although Scorpion's like 400 years old, some shit like that.
Right.
Scorpion had to be banged. Unless, I don't know. Their timeline placement of some of these characters is weird, because Scorpion and Sub-Zero look like they belong in feudal Japan, but like Sub-Zero is like the same age as Johnny Cage, apparently.
Well, Sub-Zero, there's been like 3 of them. One that was in the first tournament isn't the one that's in the second.
The first Sub-Zero is killed by Scorpion and comes back as Noob Saibot.
Okay.
The second one is the one you see in Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 with the scar on his eye. He was quote unquote marked for death by the Lin Kuei. I know a lot about the Mortal Kombat universe.
Didn't he and Scorpion bro out then? They became good buddies?
It's after 4 when basically like when Quan Chi is introduced, and it's revealed that Quan Chi basically orchestrated everything around Scorpion's death and his family's death. He frames Sub-Zero, and Scorpion's like, "You motherfucker," and then him and Sub-Zero just bro down all over Quan Chi. And then in the timeline kind of changed, but by X, Scorpion becomes a human again and doesn't have to worry about being a slave to anybody.
Yeah, I remember that.
There's a great scene in Mortal Kombat 9 where they make a big deal out of like, Scorpion, you can't kill Sub-Zero. Whatever you do,
don't kill Sub-Zero, and he actually agrees. And then,
but he comes back with and they're like, and he pulls out Sub-Zero's skull, and he has like sad puppy dog eyes.
Yeah, he's like, I did a bad thing.
I'm sorry, guys. It's so great.
Yeah, because he's going to spare Sub-Zero, and then Quan Chi is like, remember when he killed your family?
Now, the thing is, I wanted to bring up the idea I had for a Mortal Kombat movie, which is it would just be called Jackson Briggs' Handjob Machine. Because with his big metal arms, he can't be stopped.
How did I know there was just no way we were going to avoid this as soon as you opened your mouth? He was like, here's my idea for a Mortal Kombat movie. I'm like, and here's when all sincerity goes out the window.
He wouldn't get tired. He can't be stopped.
And he just keeps going, gotcha.
And he can pull a man's arms off. I'm sure he can pull a man off, too.
Here's the funny thing about Jax in the Mortal Kombat Annihilation movie. Do you remember how he's introduced, for anyone who saw it? Okay, so he's just lying on a surgical table, right? With those fucking metal arms. Yep. He is the only one in that facility. Where are the people who put these arms on, and why he's still strapped to the table?
They left because of Cloud people?
Yeah, they left because it starts raining ninjas.
Sure.
Yes.
That sounds reasonable.
And then he just wakes up like he just wakes up like, "Oh, hi, Sonia," and she's like, "I gotta get you out of here." And he's like, doesn't ask any. He starts asking questions. He's like, "What's going on? What are you doing here? Who's that? Where are we going?" And she's like, "Not now, Jax." He's like, "Okay, it's been an hour. You haven't told me anything. Who are the ninjas?"
One would think after having a major surgery like having robot goddamn arms put onto your body, it would take you a little while to get used to how to use them.
Well, first of all, you gave them too much credit. Surgery? Bah, they velcroed those things to his arms. Okay. Because later on in the movie, he just like pulls them off. He's like, "I don't need these." And
that was so dumb.
They just come off.
As a child, I thought that was dumb.
But what does he do without any arms?
He somehow beats Motaro more effectively with the power of belief. By the way, Motaro is a fucking centaur who like towers over him, and then instead of like using his big jacked up metal arms, he takes them off and they hit the ground like they fold like they're latex. They just they crumble into a pile. And then he like just hits Motaro in the jaw pretty gingerly, and Motaro's like, and
with
then dies.
what?
Okay, here's the thing. The only explanation for this is that those arms were sugar pills. They were not real robot arms. They were just arms to make him feel confident in himself.
That was the thing I was trying to figure out while you were explaining it. Is like, all right, he can take off one robot arm realistically, but how does he take off the other one?
Because they're not robot arms. They're just like these weird they're just metallic coverings that just have like cool cybernetic bits.
That's the stupidest goddamn
thing
it's
I've fucking dumb, especially when you go back and you like in the new timeline, like Jax loses both of his arms because Ermac blows them up. Which is by the way, that's a weird thing to do to somebody. Because like you have the ability to blow up their whole you have the ability to blow their body up with your brain, and you're like, nah, just your arms.
Yeah.
Did he go into that stuff?
Wow, it took me a second. And first of all, Alan, you can only hit one limited time in VATS, okay?
No, you can do. It depends on the AP.
You can only hit one limb at a time and then move on to your next shot. I'm saying you can't pull out fucking dual Desert Eagles and pull off the person's both their arms at the same time. Huh?
Fucking mind. Like using that for psychic abilities? Nah.
Eric's trying to process why the man with the metal arms took off the metal arms.
I'm just, oh god,
this has been your video game minute.
So back to Connor's question. Hey, what else has anybody else been up to this week?
I mean, I really didn't talk about the nun. You just quoted my Facebook.
Your quote that we can find on Facebook. Yeah, please tell us more about the nun.
Okay. Wow, I already have forgotten this movie to some degree.
That's fucking bad.
It's really here's the thing, and I've talked about this in various chats, so if this sounds rote, I'm sorry. But a big problem with the movie is you can tell that they cut major stuff out. You can tell that they cut like 30 minutes of the movie out, and it's stuff, I would guess, it's stuff akin to when Ed is singing Elvis to the kids in Conjuring 2. Moments that make you care about the characters who are on screen and, care about what they're doing in their lives. Yeah, things like that. They cut all that stuff out to make the movie shorter so they could fill more screens. That's my only logic that I can see behind this.
That's
decision.
The dumbest shit on earth. Because I just recently rewatched Conjuring 1 and 2, and they're so good because you have those elements that you actually give a shit about the people.
Balak is like the scariest part of Conjuring 2 in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And like, just like, I don't know, I haven't seen The Nun. I don't plan on seeing The Nun, but like, the fact that it seems like they defanged Balak is a little weird. Like,
yeah, and that's the thing. Valak doesn't do much. That's
banging their own creations because, like, we didn't need 2 fucking Annabelle movies.
No.
Yeah, but the second one wasn't half bad.
It doesn't matter because as soon as you start, like, once you take away the mystique of these entities, like, I don't care. The mystery is gone. It's like, oh, I know how you work now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Stop fucking telling me about the monsters. Just give me monsters.
Like, Conjuring 2, they open up with the Amityville haunting. I kind of like that more than having its own, like, movie.
Yeah.
It's like, it feels more like they're going from case to case.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they actually glossed over Amityville because it would be just stuff we've seen before.
And also,
Also, Amityville is 150% bullshit. So
Yeah.
I'm glad
Well,
they
I
didn't
mean,
do that.
let's be honest. Most anything that the Warrens were involved in was
And
Right.
so is
Enfield
bullshit.
apparently wasn't.
and the
real
thing I like about
either.
Conjuring 2 a lot is that they do play with the idea that it was a hoax because like Ed even looks at those pictures and says it looks like she's jumping.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
Yep.
ooh, that was good writing because that's
Yeah.
you're totally playing into real world stuff and you're planting that seed of doubt.
Yeah.
I thought about this a lot. Like, I think The Conjuring 2 is like one of my favorite horror movies because, like,
It's fun.
It's
a
pretty
lot
great.
of fun.
it is.
I think it's
Like,
one of the best. I think it's one of the best haunted house movies ever made.
It is because, like,
Yeah, probably.
there's like a feeling of tension that I don't get when I watch other movies.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that one.
it starts when she's like going through the rooms in the DeFeo house, and
Yeah.
then
So good.
it doesn't let up at all.
And I didn't realize that they were. I didn't realize this till I was like watching that documentary, My Amityville. Those kids in their eyes, they were a reference to that picture because I saw that picture when I was
Yeah.
like 10.
I
Um,
hate that. I hate it.
it's so good though. It's such a like
Get out of me.
like a little detail that they just like nailed, and it's like the picture was fake, but it adds something to it.
Well, I think like even when like I think James Wan's worst movie is probably Death Sentence, and even Death Sentence is a fucking good time, because that guy understands like dramatic tension very well.
Mhm.
He also knows
and-
the shit out of you.
Yeah, well, that and like Death Sentence is also just so fucking like it is extreme to the point where like this is misery porn, but I'm really into it and I can't wait to see how this ends.
So that one's worse than the haunted puppets. Or,
Oh god, I completely forgot
Well,
about Death Silence.
Littlest Reich, is that what it's called?
No, that's you're talking about that's Puppet Master. We're talking about Dead Silence.
yeah.
Oh, that movie.
I don't
that.
even hate Dead Silence. But I think I feel like that's a cool idea that in execution is like
Yeah.
There's like
also
there's-
like the twist is preposterous. Like in a movie with evil dolls, the twist is outrageous.
What is the twist? I don't think anybody cares if it gets spoiled.
You've never seriously you haven't seen Dead Silence?
No, it never interested me.
Oh my god. Okay, so like the main character of the movie has like his father, right? That he keeps visiting, kind of consoling for advice.
Yeah.
I barely remember.
But
it,
he
so-
has like a caretaker, so like he's always being either wheelchaired around or kind of this woman's always shadowing him. And towards the end of the movie, he goes to consult his father one more time about something. I can't remember exactly what it was.
His dad's a marionette.
His dad's a fucking puppet.
Ah!
His dad is a fucking flesh puppet. I'm not even kidding. Like she has her hand up on his spinal column, and she's like making him chatter like a dummy. I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I've
I mean, that's better than that Anthony Hopkins movie that I didn't finish because fuck that movie.
Wait, which one are you talking about? I might know.
The one where he has a puppet that convinces him to do bad things. It's essentially a movie version of the puppet that's Al Capone in Batman.
Okay, Scarface. I was
yeah.
I was just thinking of the Tales from the Crypt episode with Bobcat Goldthwait, and where his like Siamese twin brother is connected to his hand.
yeah.
I think. Yeah. Yeah.
So actually, on the horror front, I made a very interesting discovery today. My roommate Ashley did not know about H.P. Lovecraft's connection to Cthulhu. She thought Cthulhu was kind of just something that has always kind of existed in like the pop culture zeitgeist.
Oh.
Or like at least she thought it was like kind of a reference to an old myth. And I was like, no, H.P. Lovecraft wrote that. She's like, what? And I went in my backpack and had the H.P. Lovecraft collection and was like, here you go. I was like, I can't wait for you to dive into this.
Well, I know you to an extent from doing a show with you for the past year or so. I can't help but imagine like you have a black backpack and long black hair while you're pulling out your H.P. Lovecraft from your backpack. Like,
my hair spontaneously grows like Aleister Crowley
your
length.
skin all of a sudden just turns white. You have an upside down cross tattoo on your forehead.
My hands grow to 6 inches long.
Yeah, exactly.
Here is the black book.
Javier Botet suddenly just
Read it.
pops out of your head.
Read it away from the light.
Sunderman shows up just because. Why not?
Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock just walks behind me into a door frame. Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 and it just goes away.
You summoned the book. The book has appeared.
Wow, I'm gonna have nightmares.
I actually,
like me talking like that.
Actually, I read I had a copy of the Joe Lascola actually gave me a copy of the Necromonicon to read in
The
high
what
school.
now? The Necronomicon, you mean?
Yeah.
The
The
Necromonicon?
Necronomicon?
Necromonicon. Yeah, it's the spin-off.
The Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead.
It's the Aldi brand of it.
No, that'd be
Best
like
value.
no, that'd be like
Necromonicon.
like the dead Nomonica. Like they just fucking they didn't even just beat around the bush. It's called. This is the Death Encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Here's our Death Bible.
It's made with the flesh of dogs.
It's made from the flesh of my sheep named Bessie.
Exactly.
So, the nun. But no. Yeah, no, like the nun isn't even the scariest part of the movie. Like, the scariest stuff. Well, I mean, the scariest stuff involves a nun, but not the nun, because there are multiple nuns in the film.
That's confusing.
Spoilers, dude.
Well, no, it takes place at a monastery, so there
A
are.
covenant, you mean?
But no, like there's a zombie nun, at one point because Valak can make zombies, which isn't that crazy.
Are you fucking excuse me?
Well, no, here's the thing: you got to remember, Valak has the ability to pull things out of nothingness, as we learn in Conjuring 2. So it's not that insane. And like, I was listening to a podcast, and they were like, "How did X character end up inside of a coffin underground?" It's like, well, Valak transported that little girl behind a wall once, so it's not that crazy, really, if you think.
Also,
about
I mean, the Crooked Man is a complete creation of some kind of supernatural force in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
it's like,
my God, it's terrifying.
It's actually so cool, though. It's so fucking rad.
yeah, because that's what happens when you use Javier Botet correctly.
Dude, have you seen that? Have you seen that fucking test footage of him in the mama getup?
I've seen bits and pieces.
My God, it is frightening.
Real quick,
Yeah.
going back to the Crooked Man, though, the way just having watched part 2 recently, I always interpreted that as Valak being inside the little girl and just basically projecting that into the kid's head. Like the Crooked Man wasn't really there.
That first appearance, but when he comes after Ed.
Yeah, it's
when he.
Yeah, it's the Destructor. You know, it's the thing from. It's the more serious version of the thing from Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
and Beepo.
yes.
And there's another time where Valak is able to just create illusions, like when Valak traps that little girl in that room of crosses. That's clearly an illusion. That's not real.
He also keeps showing Lorraine Ed's death over and over again.
That's true.
That's the thing. There's a lot of lore stuff that they add to this movie, like a evil Satanist prince who like summoned Valak. Like that's just cool, I guess. Like, yeah,
Man,
really
like
weird.
you know remember how the Evil Dead remake set all this up in a single movie, but it didn't need to have spin-offs?
Right? Yeah.
Like so fucking swiftly and expertly set this all up.
Just you saying an evil Satanist prince, and then this taking place at a covenant makes me think of Prince of Darkness right away.
There's some Prince of Darkness-ness
Really?
in it.
I don't think I've actually seen Prince of Darkness. Now that I think
Oh, you haven't seen
How
Prince
have
of
you
Darkness?
not seen Prince of
I
Darkness?
have 110%
Turns into a pile of
seen
cockroaches.
I've seen Mouth of Madness.
Oh, you need to see Prince of Darkness. It's so
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Prince of Darkness is the other part of that trilogy, in the Doomsday trilogy.
Right.
Yeah.
Alice Cooper shows up.
Yeah.
And then
He
he
kills
turns
somebody
into
with
bugs.
a bicycle. No,
Yes, he
Alice
does.
Cooper doesn't.
What?
Alice Cooper doesn't turn into bugs. It's
No, does he not turn into bugs?
No, he doesn't. It's one of the guys who's part of their team. Because
Well, somebody
he just,
turns into bugs,
yeah.
and it's really cool.
I've got something to tell you. You're not
I've
gonna
got
like
something
it.
to- yes,
That reminds me.
you're not gonna
That reminds me,
like it.
Hunter. Did I ever tell you about a movie called Hardware Mark 13?
Is that okay? I've heard that name before. What? Remind me what the
It's got like Iggy Pop and a couple of like fucking like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We
we
talked
It's
about
talked
this.
about
it's the movie where like some scavenger brings home like this old robot head for his girlfriend.
Yeah. This is whenever Richard Stanley comes up.
Yeah.
Our favorite
Mhm.
director.
Our
who's
favorite,
disgraced.
our favorite disgraced director who was unjustly booted from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
because
guy-
he believes in Satanism.
the guy who did the guy with the movie with the demon thing.
Yeah.
Dust Devil.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dust Devil
Yeah.
and yeah. Oh yeah.
Shit, fucking Dust Devil rocks.
Yes.
Okay, we're not going down that
Yeah,
road
yeah.
again.
Dust Devil rules.
Anything else about the nun that you wanted to add, Arlen?
I'll just say this though: go watch The Hallow instead of watching this new movie, and wait for whatever Corin Hardy does next. Because the parts where you can tell, like, there are parts where you can tell he was trying to do James Wan and he was trying to ape it, and then there are parts where it's like, this is clearly him. Those parts are fun. So I do want to see what he does next.
Actually, Arlen, you just remind me. Have you watched? Has anybody here watched Digging Up the Marrow?
I have.
The name sounds familiar.
I thought you watched it recently, and I didn't get to talk to you about it. I really hate it. Really, really passionately disliked it because I went into it expecting something, because I feel like I was sold a different movie.
No, here's the thing. I can see why that would make you angry. I don't know, like, it's not a perfect movie, but I don't think I can't remember if it's Joe or if it's his podcasting partner who directed that one. But the two of them, their movies they're all very, like, unfinished and not perfect, but they all have interesting stuff, like Frozen.
That's the Hatchet guy.
Mayhem. Yeah, Hatchet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Adam Green and
there we go. I can't really guess.
Joe Lynch. But yeah, no, that movie, I don't know. I like parts of it. Like, I really like the ending quite a bit, actually.
I don't remember the ending at all.
Do we want to go into spoilers? Any of you think you're going to see this movie? We should probably give an idea of what the plot is.
Yeah, I know the name, but that's it.
It's super bizarre. It's like the real Adam Green and his partner, like, fucking discover monsters.
Yeah,
interesting.
Ray Wise plays this old man who, like, found a doorway into a monster city.
Hell yeah!
He's just been watching them.
What is this called?
Digging Up the Marrow.
Digging Up the Marrow. And he calls
I want to watch this.
Yeah.
I mean, the trailer was fucking rad. I was like, holy shit, I need this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's an interesting movie. It's especially interesting knowing that Adam Green's actual wife is in the film, and they are divorced now. So there's an extra level of, like, that's weird, the way that they're interacting with each other. I can tell that they don't like each other very much, even though they're acting.
It's because she was all about that monster dick.
Yeah.
God damn it.
It's got 4 heads.
I think I discovered that whilst on a kick of just trying to find new horror films. That was among just a bundle of them I watched.
Well, I was just, like, scrolling through Shudder, and because their selection's insane, so...
Is that on Shudder right now?
It might be still. That's the thing. Nothing ever goes off Shudder the way that things go off of Netflix.
Yeah, that they just disappear.
Mm-hmm. Like, because I know last year they had the Universal Monster movies, but that's the only thing I can think of that's really, like, going away from Shudder ever.
Yeah, I can see that.
I watched a horror movie recently. That was the worst shit I've ever seen. It's called The Hunted. It's on...
You told us about this.
This movie... Okay, I cannot tell you for the life of me what the fuck happens in this movie, but I can tell you that it's boring as fuck and nothing happens. Like,
yeah, there are a lot of those, though.
it has this cool thing where you're like... I almost thought it was Bigfoot for a while in the movie, and then, like, you hear, like, a woman crying in the woods... And that's it. And I was like, oh, that's kind of creepy. And then they go nowhere with that. And it's like...
There are a lot of movies that try to do Bigfoot, and then they do, like, a twist.
Yeah.
Like, there's one that I have never seen it, but it has one of the guys from Silicon Valley in it. Not one of the leads.
Alien one?
Yes. Where he thinks he's being hunted by Bigfoot, and then he comes back to civilization, and aliens have invaded while he was doing his, like, Survivor Man show that he does. Because that's what we all needed in the world.
Yeah, that sounds great. Did you see the... Okay, not to go off topic, but did you see the trailer for a movie? It's called, like, Captive States or something?
No.
Okay. Oh, yeah, no, Eric shared that in the chat a couple days ago.
Oh, yeah, the one that's directed by the guy directing the first Planet of the Apes films.
Yeah.
It's got John Goodman in it, and it's like America is, like, invaded by aliens.
Oh, but it's supposed to be 10 years after they've taken over.
Yeah. It's like how
that's something that we really haven't seen before, which I'm curious about. Like,
it's got like John Goodman in a cool like fucking. It's got like a gas mask on. It looks cool.
I'm kind of wondering if he's like the human ambassador, like the president of humans, while these things are kind of in charge. Like if he's basically their figurehead.
Yeah.
Or the go-between. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It was really interesting. Interesting use of the woman who does the Purge voice because that's what we needed.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I mean, this has been ongoing since September 1st, but ever since my wife and I watched Hereditary, we've just been kind of digging into creepy or spooky Halloween-esque movies. But like,
yeah, I'm about to start my yearly horror binge at this point.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We've pretty much managed to watch a lot of things we haven't seen before, with the exception of a few mistakes, like watching Queen of the Damned.
I'm kind of trying to put myself back into horror movies. Like, I stopped for a while because I was like, I don't just watch horror movies like on a whim. I'm like, I have to be in the right mood. Kind of.
My biggest thing is it has to be a really well done horror movie for me to get into it. Like, I can't just watch anything. Like, and I'm discovering that by having to search through like Shudder and Amazon Prime and Netflix and HBO. Just be like, no.
The more I get though, like the more I cannot handle jump scares. Like, I feel
like I'm a little numb to jump scares at this point. I am a little more sensitive to senseless, like just cruelty in terms of graphic violence. Like gross out stuff I'm okay with, but like nasty violence that's just like meant for nothing else but to, you know, like I can never watch Takashi Miike's Imprint ever again.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think I could actually watch Audition ever again at this point.
No, like, Audition was I needed to see Audition once and that's it.
Not worth it.
I mean, I used to own it, and I really enjoyed it for what it was. But at this point, I'm just like, I don't need that in my life. Like,
I need to see a woman sawing a man's foot off with a fucking piece of piano wire.
Yeah.
And that's not even
and with
the movie.
No, like the worst part, the most unsettling parts of that movie is when that bag moves the first time. I'm like, no, Imprint has the kind of graphic violence that I absolutely cannot stand, which is anything done with fingernails or teeth.
No.
That's all I'm gonna say. It just there's needles involved. The character who's tortured for at least like a third of this short film, and it is relentless.
Yeah, it's not nice.
No, it's a completely mean-spirited film that ends in a downer.
But yeah, a couple of the films that I watched recently that I'd never seen before. The one was Beyond the Gates, which that was a bit of a bummer because it was not that good. And I feel real bad for the guy who was the lead, or one of the guys who was the lead in it, because he was also the lead in John Dies at the End, and I feel like he just can't catch a break.
You just reminded me.
I was like, no thanks.
See, I was for a long time, I kept thinking of a horror movie I saw as a kid, and could not, for the life of me, come up with what the fuck it was called.
What, The Gate?
Who was in it? Yes.
Yeah, it had a young Stephen Dorff.
Well, that meant nothing to me because all I could come up with was visuals of huge fucking hands coming out from somebody's bed and just grabbing at people.
Oh,
I knew it was a house. I knew it was kids, and like this was embedded in my brain. And for a long time, I was like, "Did I just make this up? Like, was it a nightmare I had at some point?"
Yeah, man. That video they crack open.
But then, like, more people kept saying, like, "Oh man, you remember the gate," and like it indoctrinated me. I was like, "All right, I need to fucking watch this movie."
There's something about the gate that is just kind of. It's horrifying. Like,
it's fucking timeless. Like,
yeah,
it is good, but it's like it is scary as fuck.
Well, like when the parents come to the door when he's like, "Oh, Mom, Dad," and he's hugging them, and then realizes like, isn't it his dead dog that he's hugging or whatever?
Yeah.
Or they throw a dead dog at him. I can't remember which it is.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, that movie's great. Like the trailers, definitely when I was a kid. Yes, I'm old. We're definitely like, whoa, I need to see that because it showed a lot of really great stuff in the trailers. So you were like, yes, need to see all of that.
It's a lot of like wonderful practical goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that's one of the reasons why I have such adoration for the Hellraiser films. Is because of like the timeless practical stuff.
I cannot do Hellraiser. It's too much.
I would say, okay, how much of either of the first two Hellraiser movies have you seen?
I have seen about. Which is the one with the guy with the hooks and he like tears his skin off?
That could be
one or two.
That's when I was like, this is not for me.
That's probably part one.
I would honestly say power through them because, like, they're really fucking good.
I just do not have the stomach for that. Like, it's
because I think that is probably the most extreme either of those two movies get.
Yeah.
Because that was the first movie's money shot, and here's the thing, Frank deserved that, so I had no problems watching him get ripped to shreds.
I'm not disagreeing. It's just like about that, where I'm just like, I can't watch any more of this.
Come to daddy.
Gross.
His fucking torment in hell is the best too, because in Hellraiser 2 you find out that he is stuck in this room where he's a fucking pervert and he's probably a pedophile. And incest isn't on his list of things not to do. His eternal torment is to be trapped in a room where women in these little sheets are rolled out on looks like basically like morgue trays, writhing and moaning sexually, and then as soon as he goes to engage with one of them, they go back into the wall.
Oh, well, I thought it was also if you remove the sheet, there was nothing there.
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
So he's just constantly tormented with just like this tease of sex. He never gets it.
Like the first two Hellraiser movies definitely like start to fall into that like level of gore that I'm kind of like, I don't need this, but they're so well done, I don't care.
Yeah,
because it's crucial to the storyline.
The Clive Barker vision of hell is fascinating because it's not fire and brimstone; it is a never-ending labyrinth of stone.
Yeah.
And they're
cold colors.
It's all blue and just miserable, and like their Satan is this big fucking obelisk called Leviathan.
Yep.
There's no devil. Like,
that's actually pretty rad.
And the Cenobites are like, they're kind of like they're Hell's bishops basically, and they're like missionaries. Like they're supposed to go out and find people who are giving into lust and giving into desire, and supposed to come take them to this realm of never-ending, like it's kind of like ecstasy through torture.
Yeah.
Like your sins don't really matter. It doesn't really matter what you've done to other people. It's like your most innate desires they bring to life in a really painful way. Yeah. Hellraiser is really interesting. And then the third and fourth movie, and then the rest of the series happens.
Camera face.
So I had a very, very, very bizarre memory that it's like this thing has been like burned into my skull since I've been a kid. When I was a kid, my dad was watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Boy.
There's like a scene where like there's a clown and he's like doing tricks, and there's this dumb dude who's like clapping or something like that, and like he like shoots him with a ray gun. And I'm like, for the longest time I did not realize what this movie is, but like I don't know why. Something about you saying like endless torture brought that movie up in my head.
Well, yeah, it's Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's probably not exactly that fun to watch anymore.
No.
Even though I'm going to have to do it pretty soon.
The movie is really fun. The Wraith. It's a great,
that movie.
Film.
Charlie Sheen.
With Charlie Sheen having sex with outside a truck or something?
No. That's Emilio Estevez.
Is that Emilio Estevez?
I think you're thinking. Are you thinking Maximum Overdrive?
Yes.
Okay.
I am
with the Green Goblin face truck.
Oh god, that's a good double feature. Actually, that's a really good double feature.
My favorite thing about that movie is that Stephen King did so much cocaine he does not remember making it at all.
Yeah,
he doesn't remember doing Christine either. I think he said Christine is a result of so much cough medicine he's going delirious.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's known for doing that though.
I just really like the idea of like 2 years later, Stephen King sobering up. He's like, I made a movie? What the fuck?
What's Maximum Overdrive? You made it, Stephen. I did no such. Oh shit!
Cut to a kid getting killed by a soda can.
Is that the Green Goblin?
Yeah. There were actually 3 films that I saw during this week, or longer than that. But Super Dark Times. Have any of you seen that yet?
No.
It's on Netflix.
That's like the Stranger Things thing, right?
It takes place in the 90s, but that's about the best I can give you for the Stranger Things connection, because there's nothing paranormal about it, but it's just painfully dark. Like it's totally worth checking out. It's about a group of like 4 teenagers and some shit happens and how they deal with it. And that's all the more I can really say about it.
All right.
Interesting.
But the 2 that I think were the best so far were Resolution and The Endless. Which, if you guys have not watched that, I know Arlen has.
I haven't. They're on my fucking. They're on my shit. I need to get to this.
Resolution is on Shudder. Like, you guys have no excuse not to watch it. It's so good.
Watch Resolution, watch Spring. And
Well,
then
I
The
discovered
Endless.
recently that because of the kind of I have like I've said before, I'm using NetSpend as my bank account. It's just like an online thing because I just didn't want to deal with banks anymore. It'll change in the future, but I went to go sign up for Shudder, and they're like, "We don't take prepaid cards." I'm like, "It's a fucking Visa. What the fuck is your problem?"
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, so I gotta send them an email and figure out what I can.
I mean, honestly, I might let you use my login. So
Yeah, or I could do the same thing. Like, it's totally worth it.
I would say because of my complete and utter rejection of all things WWE related, including spending money in their pay-per-views. My other friend Joe is like, you can just use my login anytime you want to watch something like an NXT show. I was like, good, because I'll never give this company money again until Vince McMahon dies.
My favorite thing about being a lapsed wrestling fan is like I'll be scrolling on Facebook and seeing something absolutely ridiculous and being like, all right.
Dude, for the first time I think in my entire life as a wrestling fan, I saw someone featured in a video or on a screen, and I said, "Who the fuck is that?" Which has never happened to me because I was always up and up on like who the company was signing, who they were scouting, like who was going to be the next big thing. And now I don't care because the next big thing is never going to happen. This company is just going to rest in their fucking laurels until the sun explodes. And there's more to there's some rage to that because, not to turn this into another thing, but this actually has to do with like how their company works. And Arlen, you might find this interesting. They recently got a new TV deal, which was like a ridiculous amount of money from I think Fox and some other network.
FS1.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and Fox paid them like $5 billion for SmackDown, for the rights to SmackDown, which is like an insane amount of money for the WWE. So now, because of that, and because of monthly revenue for the network subscriptions, which is $9.99 a month per customer, no matter what is on TV that month, and a massive deal they made with Saudi Arabia, they don't have to put any effort forward ever again.
Well, why would they?
You don't have to make stars. You don't have to get people over. You don't have to put on good shows because the money is already in your pocket.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's super, super shitty. And now I detest that company for everything it's worth because that was the most scummy thing. And the Saudi Arabia deal was especially scummy because, like, they partnered up with a country who, like, wouldn't let them feature women on the card because Saudi Arabia is still fucking backwards.
Oh, so this sounds like if Ike Perlmutter was in charge of all the Marvel movies.
Yes.
More or less,
Also,
yeah.
Sami Zayn wasn't allowed to be even
there
there at all.
One of their top line performers he's like Canadian and Israeli. Like his background's a little weird. Like just wasn't allowed to be in the tour because like he would probably get shot there.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Or stoned. Because,
This sounds like what could eventually happen to Disney if they keep going the way they're going.
My thing with like
Disney's gonna own America. What are you talking about?
Disney would probably buy the presidency at some point. Like I don't.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not opposed to that.
I mean, at this moment right now, I'm okay with that.
I'd be okay with the talking monster president.
Mm-hmm.
No. Here's the thing. Here's my thing. Like even in the presidency, if they had the White House, I still feel like Disney would still do the same bullshit, talking out of both sides of their mouth politics and do it like that. They wouldn't actually have a stance. They would just try to appease everybody and just piss everybody off.
Very similar to what we have going on.
You mean the clown? You mean the clown who fist pumps on his way into a 9/11 museum? You fucking imbecile!
Sake.
All right, let's skew back into horror movies.
Yeah. The Purge 3.
God damn it.
I
don't know.
I had not seen the first Purge yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if anything else really sticks out because I mean, we've
no,
kinda...
monster!
Well,
No, buddy, those are my work shoes. Stop.
I've got something that I watched recently that we can sort of vamp on for a little bit. I recently watched Poltergeist 2, which I've never done before.
Laura Flynn Boyle's big first appearance.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, I've never seen the Poltergeist remake. I've never seen it.
Heard it wasn't good.
I heard it's not good either.
I've only heard bad things.
I've only heard. I think I've seen the Poltergeist through osmosis because
the original Poltergeist.
I've never sat down and watched it.
You should.
Like the clown thing, like the clown doll.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you.
Fuck that.
I remember when I was probably 6 or 7, my brother saw the movie over at a friend's house, and he told me about it the next day, and I threw out pretty much all of my stuffed animals after that because he told me specifically about the clown scene, and I was done having anything that could even come to life and try and choke me in my room. It was the worst.
I fucking would.
Okay, I want to know what movie you're thinking of, Eric, because she's not in the first 2 films, so maybe it's the third one.
Oh, it is the third one. It is the third one. Yeah, I forgot. The second one is with the "You'll all die in there" with the guy who died of cancer shortly after the movie was made.
Yo, those. Okay, here's the thing. Like, I know I've come out and said like I don't believe in certain like stupid fucking supernatural shit. Those movies are 150% cursed.
Yeah.
Without question. Oh my god, monster! What the fuck got into you? He's all over the goddamn place. This never happens. Cat is so chill.
But what were you going to say about Poltergeist 2?
Oh my god.
Well, it's just like I was surprised because it's a horror sequel from the 80s, and it was actually pretty.
It's really good.
Decent.
Yeah. Parts of it are really good. There are definitely parts that I feel like, and I'm saying this having not seen it in a while, but I just remember it being like, at some points.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as good as the first one, I would say.
Well, the first one is a Steven Spielberg movie. Yeah.
That old man is so creepy.
Toby Hooper directed it, but the rumors are that Steven Spielberg basically came in and took over that movie while he was a producer.
Mm-hmm. The problem is you can find stories that support both of them directing it.
Oh, really?
Well, apparently Steven Spielberg produced it and did the screenplay.
Yes, officially. That's the official story. My theory at the moment is that this was before the Coen brothers had fought the battle of being able to share director's credit vehemently, and before they won that battle. So I think that's...
Oh, so you think it was a co-director thing?
Yeah, I think that they just ended up co-directing accidentally, and they couldn't get a credit for it.
Man, that led to great things like Frank Miller being able to direct his own movie.
No, that would actually, not to go too far off topic with Poltergeist 2, but that would make a lot of sense with Poltergeist 1. Why a scene like the mirror scene when the paranormal psychologists are there, like, or investigators at least, because that doesn't strike me as something Stephen King would do, or not Stephen King, Steven Spielberg. But
the chair stuff, that's so Spielberg.
Yes.
And the family, and like it does feel. I can see like
there's
a
some
Hooper scene.
There's a whole there's a whole sequence that feels like came out of E.T.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's anything involving like the chair shit or any of the like the more innocent looking spooky stuff.
Yeah. Any of the music cues with Carol Ann. Definitely feel very Spielbergian.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways,
like that skull coming out of the closet. That's Hooper.
The tree eating the child. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say about part 2?
Watch this movie.
Well, it's just very creepy. It's very well done. Like everything about like even the Native American character who's a little bit racist.
A little bit. A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Family in danger.
Milwaukee Henry Zabrowski impression.
He is kind of, but I don't know, that movie. It's also really well shot for the 80s. There's one moment where I was like, you would never leave Carol Ann alone again. You would never be in a different room than her ever again.
Yeah.
After the events of the last movie, like she loses her in like a shopping mall, like an outdoor shopping mall. At one point, I'm like, that wouldn't happen if you had been through what you would experience in the previous film. Because Carol Ann gets lost in the Dead Zone, the Deadlands.
Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah.
The Other Side is the title.
Bad
of the
special
movie.
effects. Yeah.
Oh,
That was the things I remember the most from the second one are when Craig T. Nelson is drinking the tequila and then pukes up the old man, and when their son Robbie gets covered in his braces. Like those were the scenes that terrified me the most in that movie.
He gets covered in braces.
There's some messed up stuff.
You need to watch it. You really should seek it out.
His braces become possessed and they grow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's kind of terrifying. Okay.
Yeah. No, there's some terrible stuff.
Poltergeist 2 rocks. Poltergeist 2 is probably one of the best horror sequels ever made, and there's a good chunk of horror sequels that kind of came out at that time that are all amazing. Hellraiser 2 is one of them, and so is Evil Dead 2.
Have you guys ever seen a horror movie that you've heard was terrifying, and that kind of when you watch it, it's this is not scary at all?
I am going.
The Exorcist.
Never mind. He beat me to the blast.
What movie? What was that?
The Exorcist.
Oh,
I don't find that movie terrifying. I love that movie.
I did not
find
find The Exorcist to be in the
It's
lead.
not scary. I'd say it's more like not scary. It's more like, what's a good word?
It's
foreboding. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the third Exorcist movie is more scary than the first one. Honestly,
it is. It's there's some nightmare feel in there. The nurse.
Yeah.
I don't think Pet Sematary is that scary.
No, first of all, I can never watch Pet Sematary seriously ever again after that South Park episode.
Yeah.
Never, ever again. You don't want to go to that road. That road's that's bad news down that road.
That kid,
sometimes that is better.
Gage.
The kid going up the attic is probably the most unintentionally hilarious thing ever, because he's sassy about it. He's like, "You're no fun."
Well, Gage cutting the Achilles tendon of Fred Munster is kind of hard. That's the thing. For me growing up, the Munsters weren't still on TV, but they were on repeat all the time. So I knew exactly who the actor was when I saw him, and then seeing this little toddler cut his Achilles tendon, I'm like, that's really messed up. It's not scary. It's just really messed up.
Down that road, nothing good comes on that road.
It's really, really fucked.
You don't want to do it, Mrs. Stotch. Don't do it. Don't bury your son in that Indian burial ground. He'll come back not good.
I like Hunter with your question about movies that people said are terrifying that you weren't terrified by. I would say that's 90% of what people suggest nowadays. I'm just let's see if this is. It was okay.
I think there's a problem in general with making scary things anymore.
I also have a problem with people's perception of horror movies that are good and bad. Lately, with people's fucking hot takes on Hereditary, I'm I think we saw different movies.
What are people's hot takes on Hereditary?
That it's absolute trash.
What?
No, those people are wrong. Those people don't know what they're talking about.
Have you been talking to your friend Joe? What?
No. Oh, you kidding me? I would have to nail gun him to a couch to get him to watch Hereditary, because Joe is he is unfun in that department. It's hey, you want to watch a horror movie? Nah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, his thing. I have a theory as to why it's hard for anybody to find a really scary horror movie nowadays, and it's the same reason that it's hard to have a bunch of people agree on any given thing in general, and there are so many options, and there are so many cases where somebody has made something that is very particularly scary in one very specific way. And it's very hard to find things that are universal anymore that will terrify everybody.
And it seems like people now go into horror movies with the intention to destroy the entire concept.
Yes.
Less about getting absorbed into the film and letting it kind of envelop you. Everyone goes in ready to take the piss out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I would argue that the first Conjuring did a phenomenal job of hitting all of the right notes. Just rewatching it, I'm like, holy shit, I forgot how goddamn good this movie is. And it's still gives me the tinglies on the spine at certain points. It doesn't creep me out as much as the first time I saw it, but that's because I know it's coming. But it didn't try and destroy anything. It didn't try and reinvent the wheel. It's just hey, let's just tell a really effective spooky house story.
Yeah. And that's really rely on good acting and good characters. I think the scariest scene in the movie is when Joey King, we've had this discussion before, Joey King, I think, when it's just her looking at that door.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing there. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
If you shined a light on it, there would be nobody there, and it's just her reacting to nothingness.
That's
Yes.
kind of like the Blair Witch thing, where like,
Yeah.
that girl like standing in the corner. That's horrifying. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the cameraman, I thought, standing in the corner when she finally got to the basement.
I think
Yeah, no,
so,
that's
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
I don't like to go see horror movies in theaters because I'm just anticipating just an audience ruining it.
Mm.
Because
See,
nobody
interesting.
takes this shit seriously anymore.
that's kind of why I didn't see the John Krasinski movie.
Which
Quiet
apparently,
Place.
which apparently bucked everybody's expectations as far as like every audience was just like quiet as a fucking church.
Yeah, no, they
Yeah.
were all very respectful, and every audience I was
I
in.
live in Guilford, New Hampshire. There's no way. we're too like frantic. We do not.
Yeah. That's sad.
I think the last movie, a horror movie that I saw in the theaters was Paranormal Activity, actually. And I saw
really?
that at like a 10 or 10:30 showing, so it was getting late enough at night that I got the reactions I wanted out of the audience when I saw that, which was when the big scary shit started to happen at the very end. There was somebody who got up and was like, "Nope, getting the fuck out of here," and started walking, and said that as they walked towards the exit. So that was kind of what I went in expecting and wanting to see when I went to that movie.
What's the other horror movie other than The Nun that I saw in theaters recently? I saw The Meg in theaters. And that was probably one of the better horror movie experiences I've had because everybody was reacting in the right way. Like, nobody was trying to make fun of the movie. Everybody was getting on the movie's level.
When did Oculus come out? It was like
Years ago.
That was like 2010, maybe 2011.
Mm.
So me and a bunch of friends went to go see Oculus, and we were the only people in the theater.
Oh, that's bad.
And we
Yeah, that's not good.
And we all hated the movie, so we were just talking throughout the whole thing.
Oh, jeez.
And that was the
Like-
weirdest horror experience I've ever had because, like,
I can tell you the single worst cinematic horror experience I've ever had.
was it the one with the ghost?
No, just from a movie quality perspective, and it was Wes Craven's My Soul to Take.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
That movie is, I don't even know how to describe how fucking terrible it is.
Isn't
And
that
how-
his last movie? Which
I think
is,
it was.
like, really
I think it's his
sad.
last movie, and it is.
Until Scream 4.
It is
that's right, I forgot about that.
unapologetically and irredeemably terrible. In all the ways that I wish a Wes Craven movie wasn't, because like, it's bad from a horror movie perspective, and some of the shit that comes out of those characters' mouths, as far as like, someone wrote this and said, "This is good."
Yeah.
We should,
And like, somebody towards the end says, "I swear to God, it's not okay to go around killing people." I'm like, yeah, that's pretty obvious. No character in the world should ever have to say that to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, it was so bad that by the time it was over, I just remember having a headache because
no.
I was so upset that I'm sitting there. I'm like, I came with friends, so I can't just get up and leave. If it was me, I would just get up and fucking left. But it was me and like 4 other people. And here's the thing: we got kind of high before we went in too. And even
Right.
that did not make it any more enjoyable. I just sat there and like, and as I'm sobering up in the first like half hour, I'm like, this is awful. And then by the end of it, I was like, I want to put a drill through my skull.
Now, was My Soul to Take the one with Amber Heard in it, or was that? I'm thinking of a different
I don't remember
Carpenter
any of the
film.
actors who were in it. I just remember that one Australian band that I actually saw in concert.
One of us is going down.
God damn it!
That was in a SmackDown game. That's how I know that song.
Sick Puppies, the worst band
Yes.
of all time.
Wait,
the worst band
wait,
of
what
all
band is it?
time.
They're called the Sick Puppies. They're awful.
Oh,
I-
forgot. Yep.
I mean-
said that. Yep.
From the one concert that I ever went to, they were the best. So
They're the
ugh.
worst. I hate them.
I saw Buck Cherry open for 3 Days Grace.
Oh,
a
no.
long time ago, and I was like, this shit sucks. And then like,
Why
I-
did you?
I was there to see 3 Days Grace, and they were fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Grace. But like that's a
Um,
show.
But like it was in Starland Ballroom in New Jersey, and it was like which is like the size of a shoebox.
Did they play Crazy Bitch? Because that song sucks.
Probably because here's the thing: I didn't know who Buck Cherry was at that point.
They
Probably
love the cocaine, man. They love the cocaine.
They probably played They probably played Crazy Bitch, and then like a year later, everyone's like, "Hey, y'all crazy bitch!" I'm like, "This is awful. Why are you all singing this?"
It sucks. I hate Buck Cherry.
Really, I can't believe we allowed Buck Cherry to have 2 hits.
I can't believe them to be a band at all.
Real quick, the movie I was thinking of was The Ward, and it's a John Carpenter film from 2010, and it has Danielle Panabaker in it.
What?
Yeah, but is it any good? That's the thing.
Oh my god, my Aisu waifu?
Not really. It's
Yeah,
it has
probably
an interesting premise, kind of.
America's
Well, that's the thing. Like,
Panabaker?
when I heard that John Carpenter was going to be doing the score for the new Halloween, I was like, "That's good. That's where he should be."
Yes. Yeah, he should not be directing anything anymore. I love John Carpenter.
No, and that's like one of the saddest things about like that class of horror directors is like anything they tried doing after the peak of their careers is not just like bad for late career stuff, it's bad for anybody.
Yeah. Like when your best is Wes Craven doing Scream 4, and honestly, that is the best I can think of anybody from that generation doing something late in their career. Like
anything George Romero did after a certain point is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like I think he did they just kept pounding that premise into the dirt. But I think I saw Bruiser, which is that movie with god damn it. He was Mr. Hyde in League. And he was
fucking Isaac something.
I can see his face. I can't think of
like,
other movies.
The premise is like it's like he starts acting out, and the people who have all mistreated him, and like the more he does it, like the more this like weird wax mask grows over his face, or something. I can't remember the premise. It was boring as fuck.
That's a cool idea, though.
It was really poorly. I grabbed it from Blockbuster one day and was like, George Romero, this can't be. Oh god.
Jason Fleming. That's who this is. I don't know why I thought.
And then like any of the day, like I don't like Land of the Dead.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I thought it was interesting.
I just rewatched. What is it? It's the found footage one.
Ooh, Diary.
Diary. That movie.
That movie's bad.
It's certainly a movie I watched.
I think honestly, I think the worst thing about the Night of the Living Dead franchise isn't even any of the sequels. It's the fact that because of all the weird rights issues of those movies, like anybody can make a sequel or a fucking remake any day of the week, and it like counts, I guess.
Yeah,
and they're all so bad.
There was a movie that I've only seen the trailer for.
Why are there 4 Day of the Dead movies?
There's a Night of the Living Dead movie that has like extra footage that was obviously filmed on a video camera as opposed to actual film, and it takes place in the 90s, and it's black and white colored instead of it actually being black and white film, and it's terrible.
Oh god. Well,
meanwhile, nobody's remade Season of the Witch, because why wouldn't we do that?
There's the Night of the Living Dead remake from the 90s that was directed by Tom Savini. That's actually really good.
I've heard that's decent.
Yeah, it's got Tony Todd is Ben, I think the guy's name is.
I've only heard good things about that one.
Yeah,
and I can only imagine it's because it's Savini.
Tom Savini.
Huh?
Wait, okay, I'm confused. Tom Savini did a Day of the Dead movie?
No, he did a
Tom Savini remade Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I was confused. Okay.
Yeah, he remade it, and it's remade very, very faithfully. Up until he changes the ending, which is, I think, a bit more of a satisfying ending.
Okay, I'm looking at that Bruiser movie. That mask is creepy as fuck, but
yeah, that movie sucks.
It looks bad.
Because they shift Barbara in the Night of the Living Dead remake from this damsel in distress who's constantly
Barbara
into she becomes Ripley-esque by the end of it.
Oh,
yeah,
that makes sense.
And her and Ben are like basically trying to hold off one final defense against like when
Hulk is in this movie?
Huh?
the Hulk is in this movie? Is that what you're saying?
I'm
Banner.
lost.
You said Banner. I'm sorry.
God
When
damn it.
did I say Banner?
You said
I didn't hear
Damn
Banner.
it.
Sorry,
I'm trying to think outside of Mouth of Madness. I don't think there's anything after that Carpenter did that I really liked, unless I'm getting.
I like vampires.
Nope. I fucking love John Carpenter's Vampires.
It's really good.
I haven't seen it in a very long time. But...
It's even if that Baldwin brother makes me
Laura Palmer in it,
that Baldwin brother makes me very uncomfortable most of the time. And even though James Woods is a piece of shit in real life, he has some dialogue in that movie that cracked me apart. Mm-hmm. What is he? He's like crucifix. Go ahead, nice try. He's like, a vampire will spin you upside down and shove that crucifix up your ass while draining your blood.
It's
Wait,
really good.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at stuff from Bruiser. Fucking Misfits are in that movie.
Sure.
Of course they are.
Apparently they are, because I'm looking at IMDb and there's a picture of them.
I want to make a song about the werewolf.
I don't. I gotta get this kitty lit up. Could you leave me alone? Yeah, no. This was obviously well after Glenn Danzig. This was when
I refuse to see Vampires because the movie that's in my head is way better than the movie that it probably is.
Oh my god, that is John Carpenter's one of his last hurrah.
In my head, it's just Doom, but worse special effects, which sounds.
Oh
great,
man,
actually.
how do you do worse than Doom?
Pretty easily.
I just I have a very simple question about the Doom movie: is how in the world do you take that simple of a premise and goof so hard on the execution?
Because you can't have
there's nothing there to fuck up, and then you just made stuff to fuck up.
Remember at the end of the movie where they have a big dumb DBZ fight?
Oh, yeah, because spoilers for that movie, but The Rock is the bad guy at the end. If you haven't seen it,
man, I'm gonna watch.
The problem I have that movie is that it uses Doom 3 as its aesthetic inspiration, and then it proceeds to insult me via that inspiration, because it The Rock is playing Sarge, who in Doom 3 becomes one of the bosses. All the monster designs are ripped straight from Doom 3. The set design, the design for the Pinky Demon, all from Doom 3. And that movie is just a fucking a tensionless slog that even when I got upon revisiting it, everyone's like, that movie sucks, but hey, the first person sequence, really cool. No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's
dreadful looking.
It's really bad.
I mean, I like the concept, the concept of a first person section in a movie.
But here's the problem: when you go back and watch it now, it looks
awful.
It looks like one of those rail shooters from the arcades, where people and monsters popping out of thin air in impossible places. Yeah. Remember my joke about Virtual Cop, where you'd go to shoot one criminal and then 18 civilians would come out behind the same 2-inch pillar? That's the fucking first person sequence in Doom. Okay.
It's really bad. And
you're how do those 16 people come out of that small little closet?
Yeah. And also, here's the worst thing. Also, the story is very clearly a cut and copy of the Resident Evil movies up until that point.
Almost down to a T.
It's so weird.
You removed
they made Carl Urban into Alice.
You removed the one thing about Doom that was its main identity, which is hey, we're on Mars. Oops, hell.
Nope, we're just gonna make this space Resident Evil.
That could be.
That's what we need.
What was that, Alan?
I was gonna say that.
Oh, sorry.
No. I was gonna say that having hell be one of the main themes wouldn't go over so well.
I don't understand how. What do you mean? Because we've
Al, that's not the same thing though.
That doesn't count because
those people don't.
Dude, we blaspheme in cinema all the time. It shouldn't matter.
Right.
That should not be. And first of all, those people are also not your target audience. You're not after their money anyway. It's not money lost.
They aren't going there anyways. Those are the people who get angry because of movies like Dogma, because I don't know why.
Here's the thing. Those kind of people are the same kind of people. When I worked at a movie theater, District 9 was playing. And within, I think, 25 to 30 minutes of that movie playing, an old couple came out of there swearing at us, the staff, cursing us up and down. How dare you play this filth in your theater? This is awful. It's offensive. It shouldn't be playing
District
anywhere.
9?
District 9. Okay.
Because there were black people in it. Why? Why were they?
No, they were. They
offended
hate.
by it?
They were like that's the most violent, offensive thing I've ever seen. I was like, you're
In the first 20 minutes.
Damn, I had
something to that extent. Like they something about it made them so egregiously offended. They stormed out and was. I'm not kidding. Throwing F-bombs at us.
What?
They don't like shellfish. That's probably why.
Like as if we made this movie and we put it out.
Well, don't show them martyrs because.
Yeah, or Inside or The Woman.
Right.
Or the thing.
I ended up on the Ghost of Mars Wikipedia page. I just read the words, they decide to blow up a nuclear reactor to vaporize all the ghosts, and I'm like, this is the greatest movie.
Okay, that sounds great.
The reason why they were angry is probably because you didn't play the DVD they brought in that they wanted you to put up on
I'll
the big
take
screen.
one for this. No, that woman was sweet. Like she just was just ignorantly confused.
That poor lady.
And I guess like someone had gotten her that DVD for Christmas. I guess maybe she liked Batman, and like she's like, "Why don't I know how to watch this? I'll go to the theater."
I like Christian Bale. I imagine he has a sweet hog.
I remember him from Newsies. My thing with that is that was probably like a gift that these like grandkids or parents probably got for their parents or grandparents and didn't stop to check if she had a DVD player.
Yeah, most likely.
Didn't stop to ask if she knew what a DVD player was.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like my dad used to joke that my grandma thought that DVD meant David.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, I didn't know her well enough to find out if that was true or not, and she died. And I was like, she died in Florida. I was in New Jersey, and I was like, oh, okay. No relation to that woman.
I'm just imagining her being like, "Where's the film reel?
Wait, what do you mean? You put it in the TV and you press play?
This sound coming."
But I spent $20 on this. How am I supposed to get it back out once the TV eats it?
Bob, the box on top of your TV is not a demon. It's just a TiVo. Then how does it know what I like? It's my favorite Scrubs quotes.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
So you want to wrap?
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to make one suggestion. The movie Revenge is on Shudder. Go watch that film.
Oh,
crazy.
I think one of my favorite. Excuse me. One of my favorite post-apocalyptic movies, The Divide, I think is on Netflix. I think is on Shudder. It
was on Shudder.
It is awesome. It's directed by Xavier Gens. He's the guy who directed He's the guy who directed the first Hitman movie, which, understandably, that might be a little hesitant. But hang on,
that movie's good. So
that one's
fight
fine.
me.
It's about a group of people who basically like a bomb gets dropped on like New York, and they all run into this like bomb shelter that's in their building that's held by Michael Biehn from fucking Aliens.
Yeah.
And as soon as they get in there, there is almost an immediate like. It's a divide.
Oh.
Like they start to fucking fight over supplies and food.
I remember you posting the trailer for this on Pixels and Reels a long time ago.
And because of the radiation kind of seeping into the building, like some of them start losing their hair, and it's the people who are acting out the most that start to transform the worst. So by the end of the film, these young, attractive people all like fucking savages.
That's awesome.
It is so good and so mean-spirited in all the right ways, and it has like a really interesting ending. So if you come across that, watch it.
Yeah,
and it's got a kick-ass
to be on
score.
Shudder anymore.
Hunter, remember that Payday 2 cinematic rescore I did?
Yeah.
That music is from The Divide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a cover of the song from The Divide.
Interesting. Okay.
All right, I think we.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah, another After Dark. We spent lots of time talking about horror movies. What would be an After Dark though if we didn't go down that route?
Yeah.
Oh, but
we did have more stories actually, but
hey, remember, we did have the talk about the Mortal Kombat cinematic universe.
Yeah.
The MKU.
I mean, it's real quick for anybody who cares about the news. Apparently, Henry Cavill and Warner Brothers are fighting, or are they? And that's about it.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's
You know what?
we don't.
No. I have one thing. No, I have one thing to say about this because this is my absolute feelings on this now. I don't give a fuck what Warner Brothers does to these movies anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done with the drama.
Yeah.
I'm done with the announcements.
Co-signed.
I'm done with them threatening me with fucking movies or threatening to announce movies. I don't give a fuck about your Supergirl movie. I may not even go see Shazam now. I don't give a shit.
I'll see
I am fucking done with these people and these movies until they get their shit together.
But I can't wait for The Witcher. The Witcher, though. I'm waiting.
I will go watch every fucking episode of The Witcher before I even give a moment of my time to the fucking Warner Bros. Disaster universe. I'm done. Fuck off. Like, you took two people who love those characters and really wanted to play them, and you burned them out. That's all on you. This is all in this fucking studio.
Yeah.
You're good like that.
And like, and like with this, like, just with the fucking Titans footage and some other shit, like, it's just with fucking that goddamn cicada photo.
It's just a Firefly Fest.
Those are all separate subdivisions of the same thing, though. So
Why does he look like a henchman from
No. Why does he look like the fucking final boss from Virtua Fighter from 1999? Why does he look like Doral?
Why does he look like the ghost?
That's gonna be a common thing. I don't think he's gonna wear that mask the whole season.
I hope he
don't
doesn't.
think we're gonna have another Savitar reveal, because if we do, I'm gonna.
I hope he takes it off and it's Patty Spivot.
Okay, that would be great. That would be fucking great.
I like how every one of our major arcs that we just like are kind of a little let down by are solved by saying it's Patty Spivot.
Yeah.
Because it's like, to me, it's so funny that someone would ever think that she would be the bad guy.
I
Well,
can't
here's
believe
the
that was
thing.
a legitimate Zoom theory.
In season 2, it was more like, okay, after Wells, it was like, well, it could be anybody. It could be any character that shows up, and it was like, who's someone who you would never expect?
Well,
And I think
they kick Patty Spivot off that show so hard and so fast that I think everyone was like, no, she's got to come back at some point. That was heartbreaking. Bring her. She's not back. She's never coming back. Fuck you guys.
I mean, you say that, but
Fuck you, Kreisberg.
But we don't know who made it. We don't. That's all I'm saying.
Oh god, that mask.
I would literally take Iris West getting a lightning bolt spear to the chest right now, and like Patty Spivot just stepping on screen, and Barry's like, "Marry me, please."
My wife,
Iris is still dying on the fucking street, and and Diggle shows up to preside over their marriage.
God damn.
my wife died. I need a new wife.
I need a new wife, and the perfect one is here.
Honestly, I think that in context,
But Barry,
that
we
mask might work, but it does look dumb. I don't know. It's. Yeah.
I'm also just incensed that somebody else is wearing a fucking leather jacket. It's everybody. Cisco, Nora, Barry's old suit was a leather jacket. Iris's thing was a leather jacket. Killer Frost wore a leather jacket. Everybody wears a fucking leather jacket.
I think Ed killed this though because
I don't.
It is cold.
They went to the original Takeda design and went to that. Like, how did you? What was the process where you were just like, let's just make him a fucking like henchman and like
let's make him a Sega Saturn render.
Yeah, I don't know.
Honestly,
I might not watch The Flash with you guys this year because no thanks.
No, I've already said I'll be the one who takes a bullet and kind of keeps up on it and just will give everybody a progress report once in a while.
I'm probably gonna watch like Arrow and Legends this year, to be honest with you, because like it is getting harder and harder to like capture my attention with these shows.
For me, it's Discovery.
I mean, like, here's the thing: Arrow was in the pits for a while and started to do some really interesting shit, and now like they're committing, it seems, to something very interesting, and Supergirl and Flash aren't committing to anything.
Well, yeah, Flash, it seems like they're doing the same thing over and over again. We have no idea what's going on Supergirl right now because we ducked out so early. So
I wouldn't say it was that early. I thought there were like 4 or 5 episodes left in the season.
I mean, I know that. Here's the thing. I know that they went to Kandor and spent 3 episodes on Kandor. So
What?
apparently we did.
What?
They spent multiple episodes on Kandor. There was a mini arc on Kandor when we left.
All right.
So,
Because they could. They needed to use something from Superman
happened.
Legend or whatever storylines. Oh, dumb. All right, we need to wrap.
Yeah, let's wrap.
Yeah. Fuck Warner Brothers. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I have been Connor McGraw. Movie Dumpsters got Crocodile Hunter, Guyver 2, and Mortal Kombat Annihilation all on the way out. And then coming up after that should be American Werewolf in Paris. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I'm being told I'm in for an absolutely brutal time.
Have fun.
That's what everybody keeps saying to me, and I'm not looking forward to it. And then after that, I'm not really sure, because now we're starting to slide guests in, so all of you be prepared.
Oh,
I mean all of you, as in all of you right here in this episode.
Is holding a Wraith DVD.
Arlen has his,
Soon.
he's like fucking Leia from Return of the Jedi, where he just, tucks it under his,
It will happen.
To make you guys watch Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I mean, are we going to do it for this show?
I mean, we can do it for the show at some point.
We're all watching it at some point.
Oh,
you can't make me do shit, man.
I mean,
fight
you
me.
say that now, but I don't even remember what year that movie came out. 2014, you might say something, or 2024, you might say something different.
I'll be dead by then. Let's be honest.
I think the Amazing Spider-Man movies might have to be our first crisis sort of thing with podcasting, where it's just one happens on one show and then the other one happens on the other show.
Yeah.
The Sophie's Choice is deciding which show has to watch which movie.
Remember when he turns the police into lizards for no reason? Fun times.
Poor Peter Parker, all alone.
All alone.
All alone. Goblin disease. It'll happen to you. You're weird, Dad. I hate you, son. Here's my life's work.
Okay. Lazaro podcast every week. Except next week because we're taking the week off. But the week after that, Connor's going to be on the show. So go listen to that when it comes out.
I am here now and everywhere. That's the only time I got to slide a Legacy of Kain quote into the show.
It's been Hunter Davenport. Look out for Monster Mash coming out Halloween. Really excited about that.
It's funny you say that because right now he is going ape shit in my room. It's like he knows.
That's my boy. You can also find me writing G.I. Joe fanfic everywhere on the internet.
Yes.
Other than that, I guess that's it.
I prefer G.I. Joe /fic, but I'll take what I can get.
Listen,
I prefer the real Raven.
my G.I. Joe waifu will never be so impure.
As Storm Shadow helps Snake Eyes out of it.
You better.
They're brothers, you sick.
Al,
You better plug yourself and get out of here.
Okay, so I'm thinking of deleting my Twitter, but doing what
Fair.
Hunter did.
Well, oh yeah, where you just delete it and then make a new one.
Yeah.
Wait, you made a new one?
I made a new one because
I was about to say, should I give it out?
Well, I did, but then I got locked out because I'm dumb and I chose the bit day for my birthday, not my actual birthday, because I'm dumb. So
I created a new Twitter just to keep up with my friends because a lot of them use Twitter and I don't talk to them enough, so I just have it on the side. But
I wasn't using it and I hate it, so I was like, this can go.
Yeah, it's I don't follow people a bunch of people on this one. I'm just I'm keeping it to close friends and people will actually follow their work and stuff like that. So
yeah, I still need to be able to tweet our links to our show. So
and the thing that me and Hunter are working on, Twitter.
I feel like now you guys can announce it if you want.
Oh,
we can?
Yeah.
Plus our games.
Yeah, Lost Horror Games is coming. Me and Al are gonna. Oh, I'm editor in chief there. We're gonna be launching a video game blog. Go check that out when it comes out.
We got Emmett. We got other Connor.
Yeah, we got a bunch of East Coasters apparently, because I realized
if you woo me hard enough, I may actually write something for it.
Oh, so you actually sign up for a WordPress account?
Maybe.
Like for over a year and a half.
kind of a bitch. I'm going to
look. Eventually, somebody will get that Dark Souls and Depression thing I have sitting on my laptop that's unfinished.
When it does come out, I'm going to be writing about Spider-Man. So look forward to that.
Monster, get the fuck away from my work shoes! God damn it!
Monster, chew it.
No,
Alan, do you have anything else to plug?
Yeah, we didn't. Our Hunter didn't say when it launches. October 20th.
Yeah, which I will probably be out of New Hampshire during that time, so that'll be fun.
Escaping the scene of the crime.
That's right.
I'm Eric. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Me, Hunter, and Emmett have to find out, arrange when to do a proper podcast that goes more in depth of what we hope, our mission for Lissara Games.
Yeah, look out for that. She'll be tight.
I did, or a few hours ago, I did another episode of Project Toon. I really wish the person, the host of that podcast was here, so I could ask if I could announce that.
Yeah, whatever.
Come out when it comes out.
Well,
I mean, it's not like there's a level of ambiguity to what that is.
Yeah,
right.
I what it could be.
I really do. I'm so curious as to what it could be.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What about? Is it fucking Combs? Are you reviewing Combs?
Yes.
We're reviewing old Dreamcast games.
Okay, all right. I'd be
Cannon Spike.
For that. Oh god, I could talk for hours.
We've just been. The twist is we've just misinterpreting it's Project Zune. They just review the Microsoft Zune every single week.
Oh no.
And then get sad about James
Gunn
Gunn.
for his music.
And I'll throw this plug in since Al didn't get to it. Go watch or go listen to Smallville Chronicles. I'm sure some stupid shit happened on Smallville.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, this is
oh no.
Here we go.
The most recent one the one that's going to be going up next has Adam Brody from
Oh my.
He played his character as he was able to draw until
okay.
He was a great artist.
Yeah.
And
all right.
That is basically what I posted on my on Facebook a Batman drawing I did, and just said, "Hey, in high school I was able to draw." And
I know it was very perplexing until just now.
Anyways,
is that it, Al?
Yes, I'm gonna go to bed now. Bye, everyone.
I'm Eric Fedorchek. You can find me on Eric_Fedor on Instagram with pictures of dogs and cats and food and comics. I'm also around the Phantom Zone. Can talk to you about a myriad of different things and maybe things you don't want to talk about, but you have to learn about at some point in your life. I also wanted to point out that apparently John Carpenter, I mean, I know he's a prolific musician. He's also a little bit of a weeb apparently, because I'm looking at his IMDb and he did not 1, not 2, but 5 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged Series Season 0 soundtrack. He was a writer and a performer.
What?
I'm sorry. Hold on. What?
Go on to John Carpenter's IMDb.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged?
Me and my best friends, me and my best friend Nick, have this thing. We, as a kid, we loved Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, and we'll every once in a while we'll just turn to each other and quote that. That is the most. I did not know that, and that is the most hilarious thing I've ever heard in my life.
It is the 18th thing down on his soundtrack credits.
I can't believe that's real.
Huh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like as in Team 4-Star, as in the people who made Dragon Ball Z Abridged and Hellsing Abridged, somehow got John Carpenter to come and do
his
music.
son must be part of this.
Silly ass show.
I don't know.
His son did something. Like, his son is part of it, and his son was like, "Can you give us like a sting or something?"
Who is Martin Billany? Is he associated with Team 4-Star?
I only know them by their YouTube names.
No, Team 4-Star did not do Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge. It's by a guy named which is like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge is really funny. If you have not seen it, you should watch it. Even if you don't like.
I'm sorry. Wait, Little Karibo is affiliated with Team 4-Star, but not on there, not a member of them.
Yeah, he's not a member of them. But like,
he's done voices and stuff for them, but he's not part of the actual formal Team 4-Star.
He also did some soundtrack work for the Angry Video Game Nerd in 2007. Yeah.
Designers, what were you thinking?
Well, that's a bunch of buffalo ball diarrhea.
This game is bombing covered in buffalo diarrhea. What were they thinking? Oh my!
What were they thinking?
I know what happened. They used music from The Thing.
Okay.
And yeah.
Damn it! I was really hoping he's like, I really like that Yu-Gi-Oh. I really like that card-carrying big-eyed boy.
I think that's what's happening.
I mean, not to extend this any longer, but like Team 4-Star has. You would think they got licensed music, but they've done astounding covers of stuff from recognizable work. Like they used 11th Doctor's theme at some point for something. It was amazing.
Well, I know I'm doing after this podcast.
The thing is, Arlen, like that argument saying like maybe they used like part of the thing or whatever. It's 5 episodes. So I don't think it was like just let's use like 5 different John Carpenter soundtracks.
I'm trying to figure it out. Well, here's the thing with The Thing in particular. There's a lot of that original score that wasn't used. A lot of it actually,
which is how it ends up in Hateful Eight.
Which is why the entire segment of the snow falling that's all from The Thing. That's all that.
Yeah. Okay.
I
still live with the world that John Carpenter was really into Yu-Gi-Oh.
That is how
with that as well.
That is how we got Quentin Tarantino on stage going, Ennio Morricone is my favorite composer. And I don't mean like my favorite composer, that ghetto.
And then he dropped the N-word.
Well, no, he just said that ghetto.
Oh, I know, but I could just see him dropping the N-word. And then
what? Jamie Foxx came afterwards and was like, all right, anyway, we can wrap now, formally.
Yeah.
Well, why should we? We're already over 2 hours. We can just go for 3.
Absolutely not. I would like to get into bed soon.
Yeah, it's 1 minute to midnight here.
Let's do a 4-hour podcast. How about that, guy?
How about
goodbye, everybody.
I am unopposed, but how about we start a little earlier in the day?
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Fuck Apocalypse and fuck Warner Brothers in their eyeballs. I'm done with
fuck you.
This is me breaking up with you.
Rest in peace, Chris.